Hi everybody, this is Megan Garza with Megan Garza Wellness. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner, health coach, and yoga instructor, and you're listening to the Restoring Balance podcast. More women than ever are now dealing with digestive, hormonal, and skin issues and are not finding satisfactory answers or results. On this show, I teach you how to implement holistic lifestyle, dietary, and mindset strategies to help you get smooth digestion and balanced hormones to reclaim your health, feel confident about your decisions, and to finally live life on your terms. Hello everybody, welcome. This is episode 11, and the title of today's episode is Environmental Toxins, the Dangers, and What to Do About It. So before we get into today's episode, if you're a fan of the show, this is just a reminder of how you can support the podcast by giving it a 5-star rating on Spotify podcast, which helps the algorithm get my show to other listeners who would benefit from it, just like you. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to cover the facts about environmental toxins, the different types of toxins, where they're found, and what you can do about it to minimize your exposure. So environmental toxins can really wreak havoc on your body, specifically the endocrine system, cardiovascular system, and they can lead to cancer and chronic illness, among many other problems. So that's why it's really important to be aware of these things and not just pretend like they don't exist, because they absolutely do. And this can be a topic that is very overwhelming. So I'm going to try to keep it really minimal in that sense, so that way it's not so overwhelming, because like I talked about in my last podcast about the overwhelm, it can feel really scary once we start learning about these things. So small steps. So in a broad sense, environmental toxins are substances and organisms that negatively affect your health. They include poisonous chemicals and chemical compounds, so things like physical materials that disrupt biological processes and organisms that can cause disease. And like I said a minute ago, they're all around us. We cannot completely avoid environmental toxins. It is just the reality of the world that we live in. There are so many things that we are exposed to, which is why being aware of it and understanding how to improve our body's ability to handle these toxins is so crucial for helping our bodies manage what is coming in and what is going out. So some facts about environmental toxins: they are not all harmful. So not all levels of them are harmful. It depends on a variety of factors. So the variety of factors could include the route of exposure, the duration, the frequency, and also the type of hazard that you are exposed to. Environmental toxins are also man-made and naturally occurring. So things like arsenic, lead, and mercury are naturally occurring, and also toxins in animal venom and mushrooms are naturally occurring. I'm going to refer to the body burden. It is a term for the concentration or the amount of chemicals in the body at any given time. That is according to Science Direct. So basically just the amount of chemicals that you have in your body is referred to as the body burden. And lastly, environmental toxins do also depend on where you live. So unfortunately, marginalized communities are more likely to be exposed to more toxins. So with all those facts, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, the types of toxins, the names of these toxins, and where they come from and what they do to your body. So first, touching on the toxins that are in our food and water. So you have polychlorinated bisphenols, or PCBs, and this is from illegal dumping of industrial waste and consumer products. These are mostly present in fish, but are also present in animal fat and dairy fat. These PCBs can increase the risk for cancer, and they are also endocrine disruptors. Next, you have PFAS, and these are known as the forever chemicals. They are found in non-stick substances, and they impact the liver, thyroid, and immune system. Next on the list is BPA. I'm sure you've heard about this. There was a big craze about a decade ago about baby bottles containing BPA, and this chemical was really put on blast, and it's for a good reason, because it leaches into the food, and this can be especially worse when the plastic heats up. So if you are microwaving your food in a plastic Tupperware, or if you have a BPA baby bottle and you're putting that in the microwave, or you're heating that up in boiling water, it's going to increase the amount of BPA that is released into the food that you are eating. And BPA is linked to obesity, heart disease, chronic inflammation, and is also an endocrine disruptor. Next on the list is lead. The main source of exposure that we get exposed to for lead is lead pipes, and this is where we get our drinking water from. And unfortunately, this is linked to kidney and brain damage. Arsenic is a naturally occurring contaminant that is often found in brown rice fields and also from factory farming runoff. It's also found in the groundwater and has been linked to cancer and diabetes. The next place of environmental toxins that you will be exposed to is in the air. So the first one would be particulate matter or particle pollution. So these include things like nitrates, sulfates, organic chemicals, metals, soil, dust particles, and allergens. So sources of these exposures include wood-burning heaters, power plants, dust from construction sites, pollen, mold, brush and wildfires, dust storms, gasoline, oil, and diesel fuel. So like I said, there's a ton of stuff that we are exposed to, and it's really just about minimizing exposure and being aware of these things. So in the short term, this can cause irritated eyes, nose, throat, and bronchitis, but in the long term, it can lead to reduced lung function and reduce your lifespan. Next would be dioxins. So these are persistent organic pollutants. So that means that they break down over a long period of time, meaning that it can stay in your body for around 7 to 11 years. So sources of this would include backyard waste burning, fossil fuels, forest fire, cigarette smokes, and the production of herbicides and pesticides. So these can accumulate in food and cause cancer, reproductive, and developmental issues, along with hormone disruption. Now, common household items often contain a lot of contaminants, and this is something that I speak on quite frequently, especially with my clients, because it is so important. We spend a majority of our time indoors, so that's why really cleaning up the inside of your house of all of these toxins is crucial for improving your overall well-being and reducing your body burden. So first you have VOCs, or volatile organic compounds. Sources of this include paint, personal care products, air fresheners, pesticides, cleaners, and also new furniture and flooring. Short-term effects can include dizziness, headaches, throat irritation, and worsening of your asthma. Long-term exposure can include cancer and liver damage. Next on the list are heavy metals. So these include aluminum, lead, cadmium, and mercury. Sources of being exposed to these heavy metals usually will come from pots and pans, large seafood like tuna, vaccines, carpets, and self-care products. Heavy metal poisoning and toxicity symptoms can include abdominal pain, numbness, GI issues, tingling, nausea, anemia, brain damage, cognitive issues, liver and kidney damage, and even cancer. So there's definitely a lot of reasons that you'd want to be avoiding heavy metals and all of the other environmental toxins that I spoke about. Next, you have flame retardants. So flame retardants are on most things that we use, so things like electronics, clothing, furniture, and building materials, and they are used for a good reason, because you don't want a major house fire if a curtain in your home catches fire from a candle, but it comes with a lot of drawbacks because flame retardants have been linked to tumors and thyroid issues. And last on the list, you have phthalates. So phthalates are found in cosmetics and vinyl to make them soft and flexible. And unfortunately, phthalates have been linked to endocrine disruption, reproductive issues, and cancer. Okay, so that's a lot to take in. I know it sounds very scary and it's can be very worrisome, especially if you're learning about this stuff for the first time. But do not worry because the body is resilient and there are many things that you can do to improve your body's ability to handle this stress of the body burden and also to minimize the amount of exposure that you are getting. So I'm going to go over a list of some of the hidden sources that you can find around your house. So some hidden sources of toxins. Let's start in the kitchen first. So in the kitchen, you could find things like Teflon, plastic Tupperware, coffee makers, aluminum foil, plastic cutting boards, scented trash bags, and even plastic wrap. So these can contain a variety of chemicals from the forever chemicals to the BPA and also just aluminum in general. And with the coffee maker, things like mold can grow. There are healthy alternatives. We're going to go over that in just a moment. Next, you move on to the bathroom. So conventional personal care products, things like deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, face wash, and perfume. There's synthetic fragrances in there. There are all kinds of phthalates and maybe even formaldehyde in some products, depending on which one you're buying. They do not have to disclose this kind of stuff on the label. So that's why really being mindful of what you're buying is vital for improving your overall health because your skin is your largest organ and it is going to absorb this stuff. So continuing in the area of the bathroom, you got air fresheners, hair dye, nail polish, whitening strips, conventional pads or tampons, and body moisturizer. A total haul of the bathroom is definitely what most people need, and we're going to touch on that. Next, we have the bedroom. So things like conventional condoms, conventional lube, sex toys that are made out of PVC. So a lot of times you'll see the jelly plastic sex toys that so many people love because they say it's more malleable, but it is made out of toxins. Candles with toxic wicks, so paraffin wax, bleached wicks, and scented candles. They are all really bad for you. You're breathing all that toxic substance into your lungs. You're filling it up into your house. So really replacing that is going to be the best thing to do. And then lastly, in the bedroom, beds made with toxic flame retardants. We talked about the flame retardants, about how they can impact your thyroid. And then we're just going to go after some of the miscellaneous things on this list that I have created. So that would be things like BPA receipts, bleach, ammonia, fabric softeners, dryer sheets, conventional laundry detergent, antibacterial cleansers, dry cleaning, disposable diapers, stain-resistant sprays, and the list really can go on, but that can feel really overwhelming. And maybe this already is overwhelming to you. I know that there are a lot of different sources that we think are totally okay to be using. And when we learn about how it's really not okay to be using this stuff, it can feel really scary because, we have in our mind that I thought I was doing the right thing. I'm actually poisoning myself and my family. But just remember that it takes time to be able to overhaul these kinds of things. So also remember that this stuff is toxic by design because the sicker we are, the more money that big pharma makes. So it really is up to us to take the steps in order to make the change. So now on to the changes that we can make. So the healthy swaps in the kitchen are, instead of using plastic Tupperware, you can use things like enamel, Corningware, or stainless steel. That is a really excellent option. You can use glassware storage, bamboo cutting boards. You can use a French press instead of a coffee maker. Reusable stainless steel cups are an excellent option. I don't think anybody should be drinking out of plastic water bottles. Not only is it really bad for the environment, but also they're sitting out on the tarmac in the hot sun, heating up, and all that BPA is being leached into your water. So investing in a good water filter is really the ideal scenario. Unscented trash bags are also another really great swap. I don't know why we feel the need to have these scented trash bags in our home. It just seems kind of overkill. If you take the trash out as regularly as you should be, you shouldn't need scented trash bags. And then in the bathroom, so you can use natural cleaners like baking soda, borax, soap powder, even vinegar and lemon. Those are so powerful to clean. There are natural cleaners if you are into that kind of thing, if you don't want to make your own, and that's totally fine too. Cosmetics and personal care products that are free of synthetic chemicals such as tryptophan, phthalates, parabens, fluoride, and other toxins. Castile hand soap is a really great option to use instead of an antibacterial hand soap. If you want whiter teeth, you can just use oil pulling, which is another topic, but it's basically where you put coconut oil in your mouth and you just swish it around for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes in order to pull toxins out of your mouth and also get whiter teeth. So it's really a win-win. It makes your teeth feel so good too. And then also when you're looking for a toothbrush and floss, look for floss that is not covered with PFCs. PFCs are Teflon, and they will do that for aesthetics and just to quote unquote make the floss feel better in your teeth. So it's really unnecessary, and there are flosses that do not contain Teflon. And then you also have the option for the menstrual cup or organic menstrual pads or tampons or even reusable panties, reusable period panties that do not contain toxins. I know Thinx recently went through a big scandal because they had toxins in their underwear that were forever chemicals that women were wearing every single month, and they are putting that on their most sensitive area. So there are period panties that are really excellent. I can also link some of those in the description. Jojoba oil, hemp, coconut oil, shea butter, castor oil. These are all really great moisturizers. They're significantly cheaper than a lot of the other stuff that you can get. I've seen moisturizers for an outrageous amount of money, and you can just use these things and they work like a charm. And now as far as the bedroom goes, so using non-toxic condoms without harmful spermicides, you can use non-toxic lube made from coconut oil yourself, or you can use aloe cadabra. But just remember that if you are using condoms, coconut oil is an oil and it will degrade latex condoms. So if you are trying to avoid pregnancy, do not use coconut oil with latex condoms because you might have a surprise. And then unscented beeswax or organic soy candles are an excellent alternative to regular paraffin candles, specifically looking for an unscented candle because a lot of those scents do contain synthetic fragrances and just things that you do not want burning in your home over and over. As far as mattresses go, you can look for a Global Organic Textile Standard certification or the GOTS. So that's really the gold standard for what you're looking for. I have an Avocado brand mattress with a sleep-on latex mattress topper, and I love it. It is the best bed that I've ever had. I am not sponsored or affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form. That is just my recommendation. I think they were a pretty good company. They were really responsive with their customer service as well. So if you're looking for a bed, I highly recommend them. And they weren't even that expensive compared to some of the other competitors. And lastly, moving on to the miscellaneous categories. So like I said, vinegar, baking soda, and hydrogen peroxide make excellent cleaners. Remember, do not mix vinegar with hydrogen peroxide because it does become corrosive. Tea tree oil and lemon juice are also great cleaners. If you want your clothes to be softer and you like the feeling of dryer sheets, you can use wool dryer balls, and that will make your clothes so soft. You'll have less static as well, and overall, they're just kind of neat. I like them so much. You can look for non-toxic laundry detergent, rubbing alcohol for disinfectant, and just avoiding receipts, plastic water bottles, and canned foods whenever possible. Instead of dry cleaning, look for eco-friendly wet cleaning. And last but not least, you look for reusable non-toxic diapers. Whew. So that's a lot. That is a lot of stuff that it can feel really overwhelming. But I do have a free guide that details the toxic household items, and there are healthy and safe swaps for you to download. It covers everything that I just talked about for the swaps for the kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, and miscellaneous items, so that way you can have a visual guide. The link is in the show notes, or you can go to my website at megangarzawellness.com. Underneath the freebie tab, just click on the non-toxic guide to download it. So here are some other things that you can do in order to help your body detox these things a little bit better. So you really want us to be supporting your detox pathways. So your detox pathways are the skin, liver, colon, kidneys, and lymph. So sweating is excellent for the skin. It cleanses the skin. It cleanses all the toxins from your body. Also, castor oil packs, bitter foods, and coffee enemas are fantastic for the liver, for improving glutathione production, for opening the bile ducts, and overall just promoting bile flow. Making sure that you're pooping daily, because if you're not going to the bathroom, that is going to lead to buildup and toxicity in your colon. So all of those toxins that are in your body and are supposed to be excreted into your feces are going to be reabsorbed. So making sure that you're going to the bathroom every single day. Filter your water, because that's really important for your kidneys, because tap water is so toxic and nobody should be drinking it. And realistically, clean water is a human right. So if you have the money for a nice filter, definitely go buy a filter, because relying on tap water is not a good long-term strategy. For your lymph, just move every single day. It doesn't have to be super intense. Just get some movement in, maybe even get a little sweat in, so you got a 2-for-1, and just move. So now, last but not least, moving on to the things that you can do to kind of help your body and make this transition into a healthier, non-toxic lifestyle. So if you have a garden or your lawn, please stop using pesticides and herbicides at home. This is not a good solution for garden care. There are natural alternatives that work just as well, and they're significantly healthier for you and the planet. You can use glass containers or ceramic to store and microwave food. Do not drink from styrofoam cups, especially hot liquids, because the toxins from the styrofoam are going to leach into your liquid. Instead of giving children plastic teethers or plastic toys, you can look for more natural options. So there's a lot of rubber teethers out there for kids. There are natural toys. Make sure that there's no lead on them. You can look for non-toxic options online. I do not specialize in children's health or prenatal health, so this is something that you would have to do more research on, but just being mindful that plastic teethers are not helpful and they're actually harmful to your child. Choose natural fiber clothing, bedding, and furniture. Make sure that you are also washing your hands often and avoiding antibacterial soap, because not only are the ingredients that they make antibacterial soap with harmful, but also the more you use antibacterial soap, the more that antibacterial resistant germs are going to form. Vacuuming and dusting your home frequently are an excellent way to remove contaminants, because dust contains a lot of nasty things. It can contain microbes and phthalates and just all kinds of other things in your house that you don't want. So dusting your home frequently and making sure that it's clean is an excellent way to make sure that you are not spreading those contaminants. Avoid synthetically fragranced products. Once again, I hate the smell of perfume. I don't like scented stuff. And if you have been on this journey and you have gotten rid of synthetic fragrances, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They smell horrible. They do not smell good. They smell fake. And a lot of people who have multiple chemical sensitivity will actually get migraines from these synthetic fragrances. So also being mindful of that, especially when you're going into like tight spaces, like if you're going to a meeting or an event or a yoga class or something like that. please refrain from wearing synthetic fragrances because it is just a courtesy thing as well. Once again, filtering your tap water at home is really the best option. In the long term, it's going to just pay for itself because a pack of water bottles is so expensive. I recently had to travel and I was not able to bring a water filter with me. So the next best option was to buy gallons of water. And I was so surprised with how expensive they are because the last time I had bought them was maybe about 6 years ago. And they were around 89 cents for 1 gallon. And when we were looking around, they were anywhere from $1.29 to $1.89. It was absolutely insane. And really getting your own filter is the most cost-effective way to reduce that cost of buying water every single day. You can also DIY or buy natural cleaning products because there are so many horrible toxins in cleaning products. And if you are quote unquote cleaning your home, but you are just inundating it with toxins, you are going to increase your body burden. So really look into natural cleaning products. Be cautious with self-care products because, once again, so many different disgusting toxins that they put into our products. So either going for an all-natural route and just doing like shea butter and just really minimal stuff, or looking for clean brands online for personal care products. If you live in a good neighborhood where there aren't a lot of industrial power plants and traffic and other contaminants, you can open your windows as often as you can to bring in more fresh air. So I know during the summer months and the winter months when it's super hot and super cold, this can be really hard to do, but whenever you get the chance and the air quality is good, please open your windows. If you can't open your windows, buy plants instead, because the plants inside your house are really going to freshen the air. Another thing that you can do to keep your house really clean is to take your shoes off when you get inside. This is something that I have always been really grossed out about because you are walking around at grocery stores, at gas stations, in people's yards. And what if you step on feces or somebody's spit? Or God knows what's out there. So just take your shoes off when you go inside the house because it'll greatly reduce the amount of stuff that you are bringing into your home, especially if you have children who are crawling around on the floor, dropping things on the floor, putting it in their mouth. So you wouldn't let your child drop something on the floor of a gas station and put it back into their mouth. So it's kind of the same thing in a way with taking your shoes off. Another thing that you can do if you are thinking of remodeling your house, or if you're painting or whatever you're doing, look for low VOC or zero VOC paints and finishes, and avoid purchasing flame retardant clothing and furnishings and bedding. So you can look for wool or cotton furnishing and bedding, because if you are buying new things and they have all of these contaminants on them, all of these toxins, what's the point of remodeling your home if you're just going to make it sicker? All of these things are obviously not going to be doable every single time, but just really doing your best. All of this seems really overwhelming, and I completely understand because it is overwhelming. But now's the time to take a step back and look at the big picture of things. You have this information, which is wonderful. You're a step ahead of the game. Great job. That is awesome. Now, the next thing is do not go out, throw everything in your house away, stress yourself out, and try to replace everything right now. Think about how toxic your deodorant is and how horrible these things are in your house, or your pans and this and that, because the overwhelm that you are going to feel is going to negate all of the good effects that you are doing for your health by minimizing the exposure. Because when I first started looking at the things that were in my house, I was very shocked with how toxic the things were in my home. But I realized that this was for a long haul. It was a marathon. It was not a sprint. So now that you've acknowledged these things, when a product runs out, go out and buy a healthier option. Also, If you have good thrift stores, utilize them. I have gotten so many wonderful products, Corningware, stainless steel pots and pans that are $18.10. I mean, all kinds of good stuff that would cost quadruple or even 10 times the price. But if you look around, you will be surprised at how many wonderful things that you can find. So now, as far as reading ingredient labels go, so this is often a subject that is really confusing because there are just so many names and products that are on the market and so many different ingredients that you often have a hard time figuring out what is healthy and what is not because there's just too much. So there are apps and websites for you to be able to scan it or to learn more about the product and its ingredients. So one of them is safecosmetics.org. It lets you know all about the wonderful cosmetics that you can use, what the dirty ingredients are, and how to avoid them. The next app that is wonderful for scanning products, specifically home care products like shampoos and cleaners, is the thinkdirtyapp.com. So you can download this app on your phone, you can scan it, and you can find what is toxic that you're buying and what is safe. And last but not least, you have the ewg.org. So this is a website where you can type in different products, you can type in different ingredients, and it'll tell you all about what exactly is in it, how toxic it is on a scale of 0 to 10, and it can really help you decide what you want to bring into your home and what you don't. So I will put the links to all of these in the description so that way you can sift through them and download the app and just kind of scan these websites over. And to wrap up this entire conversation, just be mindful of what you're consuming. So that goes for what you're consuming mentally, on your body, in your home, and even what you're eating. So just pick low toxic options and avoid substances like parabens, phthalates, and artificial scents whenever possible. Take it step by step and keep learning on your wonderful journey of wellness. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. Today we talked about the importance of avoiding environmental toxins, the hidden places that they can be, and what the healthy options are, along with resources to navigate the journey into non-toxic living smoothly. You can expect new episodes every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a quick reminder again of how you can support the podcast and stay in the loop, so just make sure that you sign up for my email list. That way you can be notified every time I post a new podcast episode and make any new announcements about my services and how you can work with me, and also receive weekly relevant tips for digestion and hormones so you can optimize your health. My email list is the first to be notified about all of these things and is the best way to stay in the loop. You can find the link to sign up for my emails in the show notes or head to my website at megangarzawellness.com and you can wait for the pop-up or sign up under the freebies tab. Anyways, I just want to thank you so much again for listening to this week's topic. Take care, everyone, and until next time.